Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore Positive. It is good to be back. It's good to be feeling healthy, even though I got my wife sick as a dog from my South American adventures. We're back up and running. We're going to be doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our partners at GBMC and Farnan and Dermer. We'll be doing that at Fadley's next Friday. The San Francisco Giants come to town. It is the start of the second homestand of the season. Hopefully we get perfect weather and Lexington Market. They are getting the Fishmonger's Daughter open over right next to State Fair across Mel Guapo and Catonsville in a few weeks. We're going to be talking about that. I'm going to have some limited Harlem Globetrotters scratch-offs. We also have the new scratch-offs with all the cool Maryland images and the art contest, and I'm going to be talking to John Martin about that this week. It's not often that I feel derelict as a radio station owner or host, and when I do go away for 2 weeks, I have to do a lot of preparation, get a lot of crab cake tours in, get a lot of Marty Conways and a lot of Tim Kirchens and a lot of Bill Coles and Missonis and all the stuff that y'all have been hearing in the last couple of weeks. But it's good to be back on the beat. It was planned around opening day and the start of opening day. I did not realize all of the Crosby nonsense and the Hendrickson stuff was going to happen along the way to Machu Picchu. But opening day has happened, and it is always good to catch back up, especially as we get up on the really important day of April 15th. Leonard Raskin, I might say that I've known you a handful of years, and this is the first year in a little while where my wife is going away to Europa and enjoying her family in Italy for a couple of weeks this week once I get her healthy. And I think I have my act together for my taxes this year. So I'm going to tip the cap to you since you are Raskin Global and you're sort of in charge of such things around me, that I'm on the ball this year. Even, I'm on the ball like the ABS system is. I'm seeing the balls and strikes rate.
That has been something, huh? I'll tell you what, it's tough. It's a tough day to be an umpire. You're
wrong. You're wrong.
They're
You're
getting
wrong again.
theirs. They are getting theirs. I mean, what did I see? I don't know if this was true or one of them was 0 for 9 over the weekend. 0 for 9.
Yeah, that dude had a rough day.
He had a rough day. I mean, even the guy at home plate, Orioles Sunday, he got checked by catchers. He got checked by hitters. He got checked by a pitcher.
Even when the other manager didn't see the pitcher check it.
Didn't see him check it. We got the first manager thrown out because he was trying to fight with the computer, with the machine.
Yeah.
Soon these guys are just going to be irrelevant. What's he doing back there?
No. You know what, Leonard? I thought that, and I have rethought this because I can't say that I've given a lot of thought to. I wasn't thinking about the ABS system when I was at the top of Machu Picchu or when I was jamming with AC/DC in Chile.
It's been fun to watch, and these guys have. It's been, and I got to give them credit. Most of them are right, but the ones that are like a sliver of the box is just unbelievable.
Well,
these hitters and these catchers, I mean, my goodness, a sliver of the box, and they're challenging, and a lot of them are getting them right.
Well, but the two challenges, I think that's going to turn to 3 because I think it makes the game so much more interesting when you have one in the 8th or 9th inning. I think the challenge system alone is interesting. I've thought long and hard about what Sparky Anderson and Earl Weaver, Luke and I talked about. What would they make of this? What would Casey Stengel make of this? Right. And to your point, because you're a Republican and you're efficient and you save money and we're going to get rid of the umpires and first off, they might not be playing a year from now with the business dealings of Major League Baseball. If they got rid of the umpire, there would be no challenge system.
No, I get it.
So I love the fact now
I get it.
that they have umpires for life now. The umpires thought this was going to be the worst thing. We always say the unintended consequences of things. They're never going to get rid of the umpires because look, I'm Latin. I just came from South America. Yeah. I remember going to I've been to a couple games in Venezuela. I went to a championship, the World Series of Cuba in 1999. They played the championship game. I saw the team win the World Series in Cuba. I don't remember what the names, Leones, whatever they were. I remember a confrontation between the umpire and the manager in the dugout. And in Latin culture, we whistle.
Okay.
So when the call's bad, you don't boo, you whistle, right? The
Screeching.
manager came out, and whatever you make of Earl Weaver and Bill Howler, or
Right.
whatever Lou Piniella and wiping his ass with the rule book and
Yep. Yep.
sweeping home plate and throwing the bases and just all of that. I was at a Cuba game where all of that went down, and the fans are. I mean, it was insane.
Well,
But it's
here's my
all about
thing.
arguing balls and strikes. My
Right.
dad used to get thrown out at Colgate Little League for arguing balls and
There
strikes,
you
and he
go.
was the umpire the next night.
Here's
So
my thing.
arguing
Let me
balls and
ask you this.
strikes is part
I'm,
of the fundamental
I
beauty
get it, but
of
let me ask you
baseball.
this though. Let me ask you a question here. You've been tracking this, and you get this. I think I get it, but I'm not sure. So I want to ask you a question here. Is it demonstrably harder to be behind home plate than anywhere else on the field for an umpire?
Well,
So
yeah,
so let's say it is. Let's say
I
it
would
is.
agree with
I
that.
okay. I watch football. I watch hockey. Football, we have a referee, we have linesmen, we have an umpire, we have the field judge.
Back judge.
Hockey, back judge. Hockey, we have two referees, two linesmen. They
Used
have
to be
different
1 and 2.
jobs.
Used to be 1 and 2.
Correct. Now it's 2 and 2. Why don't we have of a team of four umpires, two guys that are the home plate umpire, a first base and a second base, and the home plate guy rotates maybe third base? Because that's where the least calls happen, right? Third base. So why don't we have the home and third guy be the home guys? And you get consistency when you have two guys on an umpire squad calling balls and strikes instead of four. Now, I don't know if they get paid differently because they're the umpire versus the first base guy, the second base guy, whatever. But wouldn't it make sense that the guy at first base is always at first base and knows what goes on at first base?
Well, it's like Cora said. You only have one job when you're behind the home plate. Ball, strike, ball.
Right,
That's your job all
right,
night.
right. So if you had a team of four umps and you had two that were home plate guys, a first base guy and a second base guy, what? I don't understand why they rotate four bases and you get different calls different days from different guys. I get it. You got to learn the strike zone as a pitcher. You got to know what that umpire's about. But in hockey, the referee's the referee. In football, the referee's the referee. Umpire's the umpire. Back judge is the back judge.
Yeah, one
They
job.
They only change when a dude gets hurt.
Well, I mean, it's 150 years of baseball nonsense of building it. But to your point, in a perfect look, you're a tennis guy. I'm a tennis guy. They employ it. It's either on the line or not. John McEnroe can't yell about it anymore. Throw his racket, do whatever he wants to do.
Not anymore.
That's why just the fact that we're 10 minutes into this, in tax season no less, talking about it is the conflict of it is part of, and I speak to Cuban and my Latin. I've been in South America for 2 weeks speaking Espanol. My Spanish got better. But I think there is a part of the conflict of that, of the manager yelling at the umpire and all of that, that you don't want to take out of baseball. And now I'm a weekend into ABS, and I thought the same thing as you. It's like tennis, they just have a machine call it, and nobody argues with it. It's good. That wouldn't be good in baseball. I think that this challenge system has completely changed the entire in 3 games. I've watched 3 games, Leonard, and it is a completely. My wife was watching. She's like, "Oh my God, it's like something completely different."
But what if the guy that was calling the balls and strikes is the guy that calls them, and three challenges matter? You got to choose when to use them, and he's the guy.
Well, you're old enough to remember when we had outside chest protectors and inside high strike zone, low strike zone, all of that. When Frank Robinson, rung me up, when Peter Schmuck, we were playing in the media All-Star game in 1992. Frank Robinson was calling balls and strikes, but he was doing it from the mound.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm thinking, well, you can't do that in baseball, but we get to watch the baseball game, especially those of us like me who were banned by Katie Griggs and Mark Fine, and I don't get to sit in the Jim Enneman press box.
Well,
I watch it on TV.
With the box.
So the minute it happens and the player challenges, I'm like, well, he's going to lose that one or he's going to win that one.
That ain't happening.
Hey,
you can tell. That ain't happening.
So we get on television the box and the view. Now we get the umpire who's on it, the manager who really can't see it and can't call it anyway, the
Right.
pitcher, the catcher, and the hitter that are in on it. You've given them unbelievable power for with these two very value two.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well,
and if
hey,
you
you know
screw it
something?
up, come back in the dugout, you're going to get side-eyed by everybody.
That's right. Well, let's talk. Let's shift for just a second here. One of the rules, let's talk football for a second.
Okay.
One of the rules absolutely irks me. I don't understand why. I understand why it irks me. I don't understand why it's a rule. The last 2 minutes, you can't, the coach can't challenge a play. Dumbest thing in the world. That's what it can matter the most. Last 2 minutes, I can't make a challenge. That's stupid.
Well, you bitch at the ref, and they'll
But
figure
you should
it
be
out.
bitching at him the whole time. A challenge should, the last 2 minutes is no different than the rest of the game. It's dumb. It takes away that sense of I see something, I can make a call about it.
That's
now
why
baseball,
this challenge thing's so great that there's going to be three of them.
right?
Because
But I'm
two's
saying
not enough. Two's
you
not
say,
enough.
well, you can't challenge in the ninth inning. That's crazy. You can't challenge in the fourth inning. Why? It's ridiculous. You should be able to challenge the whole game, which they do. I like it. In football, you should be able to challenge the whole game. I never understood why they made the last 2 minutes booth. If the booth was so good, they wouldn't need challenges at all.
Well, and part of this, to your point, going back to the very, very beginning of what we had to say. By the way, Leonard Raskin's here, Raskin Global. We'll get to money and your money and
Yes, sir.
April 15th, and we got football, we got Crosby, we got all this going on. To your point, I didn't spend a lot of time around umpires. I mean, I had a press pass for almost 25 years, right?
Yep.
I didn't talk to umpires, see them. I never knew an umpire. I met Nestor Shylock when I was a little boy. I met about 100 Nestors, by the way, in South America, which was weird. I literally, guy sold me a ticket for Brian M. Said, "What's your name?" I said, "Nestor." He's like, "Oh, that's my name too." I'm like, "Oh, how about that?"
There you go.
But I only met one umpire in my whole life that I had a conversation with, like a real conversation with.
Yeah.
I've had a few on the air with Richie Garcia came on the show a few years ago and somebody, but I rode in a shuttle after the Roberto Alomar spitting incident
Oh, geez.
with one of the umpires. It wasn't the guy that got spit on,
Right.
but I was in an airport shuttle. It was one of the, like a rental car shuttle or
Yeah,
whatever it
sure.
was. And this guy was an umpire, and I started talking to him, and he had such a really rough. He was a rough personality. You know what I mean? Like in the 8 minutes that I was on the shuttle or 10 minutes, I told him I was a media member. And I remember how that kid spit on that, it was whatever it was. And I'm thinking, oh man, all of you guys getting yelled at all night by Piniella and Sparky Anderson and Earl Weaver, and you have skin like an armadillo, and guys come out and they're going to show you their ass, and you got to break up fights, and you're dealing with billionaire baseball players who have been arrogant from the beginning of time. And I thought to myself, man, this is ego.
Yep.
And, when the umpires have walked off the sport, when the umpires needed more money, when the umpires wanted to stay at the Ritz-Carlton and not the Hyatt or the Marriott.
The Holiday Inn.
Right, right. I mean, it's all of that. That part of being an umpire is kind of being a surly, self-assured prick, right?
Right.
Like, and having that ego, and I'm never wrong, and even if I'm wrong, I'm never wrong, and you're not gonna. I'm the umpire. Get back in the dugout.
Right. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. So
now they get seen and outed, and you got replay at every base. You got balls and strikes. You got it all now.
But that's modern. All of that's been modern. What's not modern is tapping your hat and saying you're wrong, dude, and saying, "Ha ha! It ain't 3-1, babe. It's 2-2.
How about
it's 2-2. How about that?
How about a strikeout on the last pitch? Right.
But part of it, and we will get to the tax thing, because I haven't talked a lot with Luke about this, and I'm going to be talking to Alan Messina. Everybody's going to come on, because I was literally texting my friends who love baseball on Sunday saying, "Oh my God."
Yep.
The game has completely changed.
Absolutely. It's a whole new dynamic
in my life. And
whole new dynamic.
Two's not enough, because three's going to be the number.
You get it right. You get it right.
It doesn't slow the game down. And
I
if
agree.
you burn it before the ninth inning, it makes it a lot less interesting. I mean, the Twins were in a real pickle late in the game.
When they burned the second one.
Yeah, they were in a real pickle.
Yeah, they thought they picked it right, and then they needed it, didn't have it. I'm with you. They should have. They should have been a little more judicious.
It's not like a timeout that slows. You wouldn't want to give 5 timeount to the NFL after.
No,
I agree. But in this particular case, getting the strikes and balls right and getting counts right, and interestingly enough, when that phantom tag happened
Yeah.
between second and third base, where he had the ball in one
Yes.
hand, the glove in the other, and he didn't
Yes.
even tag him with the glove,
Right.
and he wasn't out of the baseline.
And they called him out.
Jim Palmer's like, "Can you challenge it?" Jim Palmer didn't even know.
Right.
Well, like
Can you challenge
like
that?
what?
I don't know. They didn't.
Well, Jim Palmer's of an era you couldn't challenge
Right.
anything,
Anything.
anything.
And there was nothing.
We are really. Leonard, I'll be honest with you, man. I know we were going to talk some football, and I know you want to talk about Ovechkin and all that.
Yeah, we're good.
Baseball's gotten more interesting. Oh, just over the weekend, not just because like we have new owners who spend money and bought a pitcher over the weekend, and we have
That's right.
like baseball's getting more interesting for me
Well, here's hoping.
quickly after it went to sleep for a long, long time.
Here's
around.
hoping. I mean, it could make it all more interesting. The other thing I know you hate that doesn't make it more interesting is trying to find Sunday night baseball.
I don't know.
Where is this baseball? Opening night, Yankees. Where was this?
Apparently,
baseball?
that Netflix thing was just a disaster last week.
That's what I heard. I didn't even try to watch it. If it would have been the O's, I'd have found it. But since it wasn't, that's the thing. I'm going to watch opening night. I'm going to watch Sunday night baseball because it's a thing. But I'm not going to go hunting for it.
Right.
I'm not going to go hunting for it. Sunday night, the O's were over. So my sports day Sunday, because I do these things like you. My Sunday sports day was a little IndyCar, the O's, a little NASCAR, a little hockey,
March Madness,
and March Madness. Yeah, all flipping back and forth. My thumbs are worn out. All flipping back and forth to see what was going on. How about that Duke UConn game? Oh my goodness, that kid should have never thrown that ball. Just hold the ball, you win the game. Anyway, and then Sunday night comes, and I'm thinking, ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball. Not there. Okay, is it on NBC? Not there. Some basketball, which I don't watch, on. I'm like, okay, where's baseball? Is it on Turner? TBS? Not there. So I get my iPhone out, handy dandy iPhone. I go to ESPN, and it says the game's on Peacock or Apple Plus or something. I'm like, I ain't finding that.
I mean, and that's what baseball, I mean, we'll get into the business of baseball. I've talked plenty about that, but there have been so many things baseball's done to shoot itself in the foot.
Yeah.
And be awful. This challenge thing for any of us who love baseball.
Wake it up. Could wake it up.
I started texting friends on Sunday night. I'm like, we got to talk about this. This is fun. It's making every game more interesting. Every
pitch is more interesting when it matters. I mean, a 2-1 count in the second inning with nobody on, it's like you're challenging that. But with two men on and an out and a 2-2 count.
Well, it does speak to ego and arrogance in a lot of ways, and you're going to go back in that dugout and get one hell of a stink eye.
You better get it right.
If you get it wrong in the third inning on a 2-2 count.
Right, at a bad time. Exactly right.
With one out and nobody on. Leonard Raskin's here.
Go ahead. The NHL, you can challenge offsides, you can challenge high sticks, you can challenge hand pass, things like that. If you get it wrong, now, different than obviously in baseball now, but you get it wrong, you take a delay of game penalty. You put that man in the box for 2 minutes.
2 minutes in the box.
So you get it wrong, but the challenges are all by the coach. So the coach has got to be bailed out by his players if he stinks. Here, the player, you just hurt your team. That's a bad day.
All right, so look, I know you want to talk some hockey, and I want to talk some hockey too, because I was in South America for 2 weeks. I can't really be honest with you that I cared or followed anything other than what I was doing. I kind of stayed off the grid on purpose because I don't get such an opportunity.
That's what vacation is all about.
Well, the modern world's a lot different too, with politics and social media.
Still,
and
it's better to be when you go away. You got to cleanse that mind. You should be away. When you're away, you should be away.
Did I look like I was away when I was on the top of Machu Picchu? Did I look like I was worried about Zach Crosby?
No,
I was not. So I literally I've been sick all weekend. My wife's sick as a dog. And I was just like fingering through my phone over the weekend. And I'm like, something hockey happened in my world and it just showed up. And I'm like, all right, I know the Caps are kind of on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I was wondering about the Predators, and I looked and I'm like, they got a chance. I was going to throw Trotz a note. Where are you in the Caps spectrum of things as to where they are? Because
I think
we are at the end of the end on Ovechkin, right?
It's like Dumb and Dumber, right? So you're saying we got a chance. They're hanging on by a dental floss, by a hair.
They're 12th right now as I'm adding the math.
Yeah, well, they got to get better than 12th. They got to jump a few teams. So they got to win, and they need help. The thing that's amazing is seeing Ovechkin at the age of 100, what's he, 41 now, scoring, and he just passed regular season and playoffs 1,000 goals, which, as always, he and Gretzky, the only two. He threw in a hat trick the other night against the Kraken. I think it was the Kraken. And only the third player, history 40 and over, to have a 2 hat trick season at 40 plus. Some ridiculous
57 points this year, 29 and 28, right?
Every goal he scores now breaks another record. Every game he plays breaks another record, climbing up on the all-time list of games with one team.
But he is done, right? This is the end.
I can't believe he comes back. I really think this is it. I think he goes. I think they've
When's the
clearly
last home
gotten
game?
younger.
Are you going to get to see him play one more time, or is that important to you?
I'm going to see. I'm going to see if I can get there. There's not a lot left.
Penguins on the 12th. It looks like it's the last game, right?
Yep. That's about it. So I think it'll be the last. I really do. He hasn't announced anything. He hasn't said anything, but it would be like him to do it in the off season and just be done. I don't think he doesn't want a world tour ending. I think he's just going to say that's it. Playoffs or not.
Tickets are $200 that night, $170 to go see
Ovechkin's
last night.
Yeah, he's not going to come back. That's
an amazing thing. He's the greatest hockey player that's ever lived, right?
Greatest goal scorer in the history of the league. And I don't know the number right now, but he also is second in history in hits.
Given or taken?
Given. He doesn't take many. And when he does, he deals them out. I think he's second in history in hits given. So you got the greatest goal scorer ever. Let's face it, Gretzky has every record and deserves it and was incredible to watch. I'm only sad that being in Edmonton, we only saw him once every, back then, year or so based on the schedule here. It was incredible to watch. But Ovechkin, Gretzky skated like a fiend and hit out in the corners. Nobody hit Gretzky. You couldn't hit him. He didn't hit anybody. I think he might have gotten 2 penalties for roughing in his career. I remember watching him. It wasn't during a game. It was now that he's doing the on-air stuff. He's like on TBS every now and then, talking about the one fight he got in his career. And he said, I remember him saying, guy came around the net. He came around the net. They both said something to each other. They dropped their sticks. They dropped their gloves. And he said, oh my God, what am I doing? Ovechkin's put guys down with a shot. One punch and laid guys out. He is indeed the Russian bull. Well, but I don't think he plays after this. They've gotten younger. They're going to get faster. I think next year, to the chagrin of everybody except the Caps, I think Tom Wilson will be your Capital captain. Well-deserved. Has come a long way. Started as a bully, now as a great player. And I think he'll be the next captain. They'll get younger, they'll get faster, and get back on the winning side.
Yeah, I used to see him do stupid stuff when he was young, like Scott Stevens, and he's a Hall of Fame player. He's blossomed into
he's matured into some amazing things. So I think he'll be the next captain. I'd be shocked, just to say, I would be shocked if Ovi comes back. It would be.
But it's been a hell of an era
surprising.
for Leo for the Caps.
God, it's been phenomenal. And if they make the playoffs, he'll get a last hurrah. If they don't, he'll go out as the greatest goal scorer ever. I think he's got, 20, maybe. He'll never get it. To reach Gretzky when you combine regular season and playoffs. Unless they win the cup this year, he ain't getting it.
Leonard Raskin is here. He is Raskin Global. That's April 12th is the last game that Ovechkin would play at home.
Yes, sir.
And then there's April 15th, which is
April 15th.
Your time of the year. So go for it.
Well, it's time of year for everybody. Taxes are due. Tax returns are due. Important things. Number one, a lot of people are afraid of filing an extension Nothing to be afraid of. You're allowed to file an extension of your tax return, and you don't have to file the reconciliation until October the 15th.
See, that
But
feels
you
good to
do,
punt, and I've done that last couple of years. It feels so much better to be where I am this year, which is
yeah,
I'm done.
yeah. But the thing is, as long as you pay the tax it's due, that's all you have to do by law. The government only cares about getting their money. They don't care about seeing your paper. As long as they have the money they're expecting, the paper can come a year later, 2 years later. No big deal. If you owe it, don't pay. Very ugly, big penalties, big fines. I'm not saying don't file. All I'm saying is paying is what's important. Filing is secondary. Filing reconciles. You can do that later. Before April 15th, a couple things you can still do. Number one, depending upon your income and your circumstances at work relative to a retirement plan, you can still put money in an IRA up till April 15th or the date you file, whichever's first, and take a deduction if that's a deductible IRA for the 2025 year. So that's still available to you. Another thing that's still available that most people don't use as they should and don't understand how to use is an HSA. HSA is a health savings account. If you have a high deductible health insurance plan through your employer, you can put money in an HSA, health savings account. This is the greatest thing the government's ever given financially. The money you put in goes in pre-tax. Okay, now all the growth, you can invest that money. You can use it for health care. So when you take the money out and you use it to pay a medical bill, it comes out tax-free. So I put it in pre-tax and it comes out tax-free. That's the best thing the government gives us. But here's the little niche in there that nobody really pays attention to. I don't have to use the HSA that I put the money in this year for expenses this year. So what does that mean? Let's say I'm 40 years old, 50 years old. I can put my money in the HSA this year. And up till April 15th, I can put in for 25. And then I could fund right after that my 26 contribution. Almost all HSAs now let you invest that money. This is not a use it or lose it. If you don't use it this year, you get to invest it. So let's suppose I'm that 40, 50-year-old and I let that money grow and grow and grow and grow. So now I put it in pre-tax. It grows tax deferred. And here's what I do, Ness. I have medical bills this year that I can afford, that I don't need to use the HSA for. I can pay those bills out of pocket, another credit card, checking account, whatever. Pay those bills. Accumulate those bills. Let them accumulate. It's fine. When I'm 60, 65, 70, hopefully that money's been in the market for a long time. It's grown to be a big pile of money. Now I can pull the money out and pay those bills that I had when I was 40. Well, I already paid those bills. So I get to reimburse myself for all the medical bills I've paid over my lifetime, tax-free with growth on that money. There's nothing like that elsewhere in the tax code. It is just phenomenal.
I'm trying to wrap my arms around this concept because I don't know that I've ever heard of this, Leonard.
Yeah. So put the money in.
I don't think we've ever talked about this.
No. Well, you got to have a high deductible health care plan, first of all. So that means a $2,500 or $5,000 deductible. Not a lot of people take that because they want to go to the doctor and not have to pay out of pocket. They want to get prescription drugs and not have to pay out of pocket. So they take a lower deductible health plan. What that means is your premiums are higher. If you take a higher deductible plan, your premiums are less because you eat the first chunk of medical costs. Now, that's okay if you don't have a lot of medical costs and you can afford that deductible. Now the HSA allows us to let that money grow. The other thing is it can be used for long-term care. It can be used to pay Medicare premiums because most of us have a lot more health expenses later in life than we do younger in life. Some absolutely have them. And if you have them and you got to spend that money, okay, that's there. It's there. You put it away. It never gets taken away. It grows. It's yours. But the beauty is all that growth can come out tax-free, which means you're being subsidized in your medical costs by appreciation of your account. It's magnificent. It's the only thing that exists like that. Now, you may remember, probably not. I do, because this is what I do. Ben Carson, when he was running for president back when, one of the things in his platform was that relative to the Affordable Care Act, that instead of everybody having health insurance that was subsidized for cost, he wanted to have everybody get catastrophic care. 10,000 and up, you had health insurance. Under 10,000, you had to pay. But the HSA limit would be $10,000. So you could put this money in pre-tax, take the money out tax-free to pay the medical bills. And that would change the whole way insurance is looked at. Same way that challenging balls and strikes is going to change the way baseball's looked at. Because if you went to the doctor and you had to know how much things cost because it come out of your pocket, not, oh, I pay $10 and I go get my knee replaced.
Copay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, people don't know what medicine, what medical expenses are because it's all buried in the insurance world. So this would have changed the entire face of insurance and health insurance and expenses, but it never got there because the claims were made that people couldn't afford the $10,000. Well, they can afford it because what they're doing is they're paying $25,000 a year in health insurance premiums. What happened is they would pay 10 for health insurance, put 10 in an HSA, and have 5 left over probably. But it never got anywhere. The traction, the lobby, I would dare say, of the doctors, lawyers, and health insurance said, we're not going to let that happen.
Well, the lobbies in the country are getting all sorts of things that are designed to sometimes screw us, which is why Leonard Raskin is here. He's Raskin Global. Tell me what you do.
Make your money work for you. These kinds of things. My job is to take a look at everything going on with the way you protect your wealth, the way you save your wealth, the way you grow your wealth, the way you enjoy the wealth, and then ultimately how you transfer it to those you care about. We make sure that's done as efficiently and as effectively as it can be. We sit outside of the financial institutions, so we're not doing things that they say to do. We sit outside the government, so we're not doing things they say to do. And we tell people what they should do with their money to have the kind of life, the American dream, so they can do the things they want to do, whether that was go to opening day or go to Ovechkin's last game or go to South America for a couple of weeks and eat and drink across the continent. That's all good stuff, and that's what people are about. Ultimately, none of us are getting out of here alive. And so what do you do while you're here to give yourself the life you want for you, your family, those you care about, causes you care about, charities, whatever it is, and don't get tied up in all the rest of the nonsense going on in our world. You can pay attention to that, but don't let it be you. Go out and be what you want to be. Have a great life, and we help people handle their money so they can do that.
He is Leonard Raskin. He is Raskin Global. I'm wearing the shirt. You can find them at Baltimore Positive. You can also find them at raskinglobal.com right here in the Hunt Valley area. And are you too busy to take a phone call next 2 weeks? It doesn't get busy.
It's not crazy for us. So what we end up doing this time of year is we talk about things like this.
It's crazy for accountants, though, right?
It's crazy for accountants.
Oh, right, okay.
But what we're doing a lot of is we're meeting with people we advise and their accountant. We're talking to the accountants. We're making sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, things are done right. Catching mistakes, I dare say. But, it is busy. It's just not as crazy as being a tax accountant right now and having to do all the returns and filings. That's crazy time.
Well, I am back on the beat after a couple of weeks in South America, living the American dream. By the way, South America, very inexpensive. Like what I did, it was, a way for me to go and do something sort of grand without it costing 10 grand, so it was a couple of grand, honestly, for all the stuff that I did. I came home and looked through the billing. I said to my wife, I was getting in Ubers in Colombia. And you have to figure out their money because it's you order an Uber and it's 9,200 and whatever, and it's a quarter and some juice. So like a $10,000 Uber ride was about $2.80.
Right.
So when you get done with Uber, you know what happens. You get done Uber, the little thing pops up, says you want to tip your driver.
Right.
So when you take a $10,000, no, I looked at my credit card.
Right. No,
so I'm taking these cab rides in Medellin and in Cartagena that literally are between $10,000 and $20,000, which is between $3 and $6 somewhere in there. And then they say, "Do you want to tip your driver?" And I had some of the most beautiful Uber,
$10,000.
So no, but I knew the conversion or whatever.
Right.
But now when you see it on your thing
On the
and
credit
you
card
realize
statement.
when it offered, do you want to tip this guy 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000?
Right.
And you realize that's 60 cents. When
Right.
I go up on, I have all of these charges on my credit card where the ride was
Right.
$3.28 and the
Right.
tip was 84 cents.
Right. I
So,
get it.
hey, like I don't, it's not all that cheap, but it was a great trip. Machu
There
Picchu is
you go.
beautiful.
Right.
Argentina, Uruguay, I fell in love with Uruguay because there's a lot of liberals there. You'll like that.
Now, were you there during the World Baseball Classic?
Um, I got a better story than that. I flew. I was trying to go to Miami for the Venezuela Dominican game.
Right. Right.
I didn't do that. I wound up flying Copa through Panama City. And I
Okay.
had a 2 hour layover in Panama on that night, the 11th of
Yeah.
March. And in the Panama City airport, Panama plays baseball.
Right.
Dennis Martinez, right?
Sure. Sure.
El Presidente.
Right.
So baseball was on in the airport in Panama City, and then that was it. I didn't see anything but a soccer match after that.
Yeah.
Now
There you
I
go.
now the it showed up my timeline. I mean, I was on my phone,
Right.
so I mean, I knew
No, but
everything
I'm
was going with the
saying.
USA. But when
Right.
Venezuela won, I
Right.
was flying into Peru that night,
Okay.
and
Okay.
but I didn't watch it on my phone, but I
Well, I
monitored it.
was going to
I
say, but it
monitored
must
it.
have been nuts in Venezuela.
I wasn't in Venezuela.
No, but I'm saying it must have been crazy. Must have been crazy. They beat the U.S.
It was all football where I was. Football,
There you
football,
go.
football.
That's all that
And the
matters.
minute you land in Argentina, everything's messy, messy, messy,
Yeah.
messy.
Right.
And I did
Right.
go have a big slice of pizza with Maradona or the ghost of Maradona. I did that in Buenos Aires. He is Leonard Raskin. He manages my money so I can go have fun. I got my wife sick. I'm sick. She's going to Italy. Manage your money well. If you need some advice, Leonard's there for you. He's at Raskin Global. He will take good care of you. I am Nestor. We are WNST. AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Back from South America. By the way, they just call it America there. We're Baltimore positive. Stay with us.